This TBR is scary good. I promise you. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jessie, and today I'm here to talk about the October TBR that I have planned. I feel like I have a lot going on in this TBR, but I have a lot of excitement for it. So I hope you guys are excited for October. It's spooky season. It's officially fall. I'm just excited to dive headfirst into this TBR. So stick with me, go grab a snack, go grab a drink. Let's get into it. So for my TBR, I obviously have quite a few things, like my Sleep When I'm Dead book club pick. There's a bunch of readathons, but I've added 2 additional things, like a bingo board and a blind date with a book, which I'll get into. The first thing I want to talk about is a bingo board. I know there are a lot of Halloween spooky season readathons. Like every year I want to plan my own spooky season readathon, but like everyone does it. So I personally want to participate in everything and also be creative, and it's just really hard. I'm also going to give a lot of credit over to my friend Gwen. She has tremendously helped me with this, and I hope you guys appreciate the hard work that she put into this, and she completely made this bingo board for me, so thank you so much, Gwen. So she actually helped me create this bingo board. So for this bingo board, I'm going to put it in my Sleep When I'm Dead book club Discord. That way you guys can, you know, see it as well and like try to complete it if you guys want to participate. Absolutely no pressure. I just feel like this is just a kind of an easy way, like go at your own pace type of activity. So if you're interested in having your own version of this bingo board, make sure you check out Discord down below so you can get the graphic yourself. So the object of this is ultimately to get a bingo, but I am kind of an overachiever and like to get multiple bingos. So that's my personal goal, but feel free to do whatever you want. So I have the TBR pulled up behind you on my computer. So I'm just gonna kind of go down the list. Obviously we have a free space, but I'm just gonna go across all the way down. So starting from left to right, top to bottom, you have a book from your physical TBR, make or buy a fall treat. So there are some activities versus just reading prompts. A 2023 book release, a Halloween read, a book with something spooky on the cover, a BIPOC author, a book with orange on the cover, read a book about a murder, watch a cozy or scary movie, a book published in October, read a book with ghost in the title on the cover or in the story, read a thriller book, free space, read a book with leaves on the cover, self-care, read a book set on or near Halloween, buddy read a book with a friend, read a magical book, enjoy your favorite fall beverage, a book that has trees or woods on the cover, participate in a readathon, haunted house book, read by candlelight, read a book with a cat or bats on the cover, and finally read a horror book. That is kind of like my ultimate goal for the month of Halloween. I kind of like these. I kind of like having like a bingo challenge. So if this one is fun for me, I think I might try to make these a little bit more often. But yeah, thank you so much to Gwen for helping me come up with this bingo board. Next, let's talk about my Sleep When I'm Dead book club pick. So if you didn't know, I have a thriller book club here on YouTube where once a month I have a book discussion with another creator, and we come on here, we talk about the book, and not only do we do that, but we also have my Discord, which I've mentioned before. You can go on there and chat with everyone in the book club. That way you can kind of buddy read it with all of us. Also on Discord, that's where I post like things like merch links, special announcements early, things like that. So definitely go check out Discord. It's a lot of fun over there. So for the month of October, I'm going to have Zoe, and we're going to be reading The Spare Room by Andrea Bartz, which I'm very excited about this one because it has a very unique premise, and I just love that. So I'm so happy that she picked this book. This one says, staying with a friend and her husband is sexier and deadlier than anyone could have imagined in this provocative domestic suspense novel from the best-selling author We Were Never Here. So I think this one has like swingers in there, so I feel like this might be kind of like a sexy type of thriller, which I'm all here for. So I'm super excited, and I think this might also be my first pick because I definitely want to get a jump start on my book club pick. I totally forgot to say when the book club is, but it should be October 23rd at 8 p.m. Eastern here on my channel with me and Zoe. I'll have all the information in the description as well as Zoe's link so you can go and subscribe to her. Okay, before we get into the other books, I do want to mention that I have a blind date with a book. I have like a special reading vlog for, so if you're interested in seeing what book it is, you definitely need to subscribe and check out that reading vlog because it will be coming out sometime in October. But I wanted to kind of keep it a secret because I don't want to hear other people's opinions or thoughts on this, and so I'm very excited about this one. And I'm so excited about this book that I went ahead and bought a bunch of these like sticky tabs so that way I can like tab the book and stuff like that, and that way I have a bunch of like things to, you know, show how much I like this book. So this is going to be a surprise, but like a traditional blind date with a book, there will be some clues. So for a little bit of clues, this is something that's been pitched to me a few times, something out of my comfort zone, and then these are the tabs that I'm going to be using for this. So I hope you guys will subscribe so that way you can check out that vlog when it happens. I did forget to mention that there is a readathon for the 6th, 7th, and 8th of October. It is the Made of Magic Readathon hosted by Zoe from Zoe Reads and my friend Summer from Seasons Readings. And I looked at the prompts and this one does kind of sort of fit the prompts. So that's another clue. You're welcome. Speaking of readathons, there is another one that I definitely want to participate in, and that is Boookathon, because 3 of my other dear friends here on YouTube are putting together Boookathon, and I participated last year and I gave Spooky Middle Grade a try, and I overall really enjoyed it. I'm definitely excited to try this because I'm still looking for books to participate more throughout the week, but I have 3 on here that I would definitely want to get to. If you didn't know what Boookathon was, it is a spooky middle grade readathon hosted and created by my friend Keisha from A Book Like You, and her co-host is going to be Gabby from Gabbying About Books, and then Gwen from Gwendolyn Kinsinger. So the Gaggle of Witches are back, and I'm just super excited to see how this readathon goes. Again, I loved it last year, so I'm really hoping to love it just as much this year. So the only physical book that I have with me is the buddy read. It is the Bellwoods game. First of all, this cover just screams fall. This one just says, everyone knows Fall Hollow is haunted. It's been ever since Abigail Snook went into the woods many years ago, never to be seen again. Since then, it's tradition for 6th graders at the Beckett Elementary to play Bellwoods game, in which 3 kids are chosen to go into the woods on Halloween night. Whoever rings the bell there wins the game and saves the town from another year. But if Abigail's ghost captures all the players first, the spirit is let loose to wreak havoc in Fall Hollow. So sounds so freaking cute, kind of giving me Scooby-Doo vibes a little bit, which I know is like one of Keisha's like all-time favorites. So I'm really excited to read this one, and this is the group buddy read, so I definitely want to participate and, you know, read the book so that way I can participate in the book discussion. The other 2 books I'm still waiting on holds from the library, but I have Field of Screams, which I believe Keisha read recently in a readathon, and I think Gwen says she's putting this on her TBR as well. I could be wrong, so it may be like a little buddy read for us. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not really sure exactly what this book is about, but I think Keisha said she overall really enjoyed it. I think she also kind of compared it to like Coraline in a way. I could be wrong. We were talking a lot about middle grade books, so I may be confusing it with some others. This one says Rebecca isn't happy about being dragged into Iowa to spend the summer with family she barely knows, but when she tracks a ghostly presence in an abandoned farmhouse, she starts to think the summer won't be a total lost cause. The trouble is, no one believes her. Then Rebecca finds a note stashed in a comic belonging to her late father, a note that proves that the same spirit haunted him when he was 12. Suddenly, she feels a connection to the dad she pretends not to miss, and she is determined to uncover the story behind the haunting. But the more Rebecca discovers, the scarier the ghost becomes. Soon she is in a race to piece together the puzzle and recover her family legacy before it's lost forever and a horrible tragedy repeats itself. So, sounds really cute. Definitely giving off the like spooky vibes that I'm here for. The last book that I definitely want to read for this readathon is The Mystery at Black Hollow Lane. This one Gwen has definitely piqued my interest on. I don't know the premise of it, but she has pitched it to me. It is like Harry Potter but without magic. And I was like, I can get down to that. So I think it's about a little girl that has to go to like this boarding school and there's a mystery. So I'm really excited to read this one and see how it compares to Harry Potter. So I'm really excited about this one. All right, the next ones are definitely like a spookier thriller, maybe slightly horror books I'm really excited to read, so let's get into those. In no particular order, I have Kirsten Modulon's new book called Hemlock. This one also has a romantic suspense thriller element to it, I believe. Kirsten Modulon books are definitely more of a like popcorn thriller, so I'm really excited to read this one because they're super fast paced, definitely like readable in like one sitting. So I'm really excited to read this one. She thought she escaped her poisonous past. 13 years ago, Maggie left her small town, vowed to never return. In her rear view mirror were two men she loved and an anonymous secret that would forever haunt her. Now, tragedy has brought her back and she's determined to forget that fateful night. But in town, like Myers, with familiar faces and chilling memories lurking around every corner, moving on is easier said than done. Before the ink can dry on the closing documents for her new residence, Maggie begins to feel unsettled. In every room, there's some unmistakable sensation she's being watched. The strange sounds, the old smells, and the bizarre occurrences only add to her paranoia. There's something sinister about her new home. When she discovers the devastating truth about the house and its grim history, Maggie's worst fears are realized. In order to survive, she must unearth the secrets she's always planned to keep buried. After all, they say that home is where the heart is, but Maggie knows home is where the skeletons lie. So definitely excited for like a haunted house, possibly dark secrets. Sounds like the two men that she loved before also gives it that like romantic element, which I'm here for. Also, this cover, stunning. Speaking of haunted houses, I have my most recent book of the month pick, The Stranger Upstairs by Lisa M. Matlin. And I know this one has been getting a lot of traction here on YouTube. I know my friend Jordan read this one and said that this was going to be a very polarizing book. And I know my friend Gwen just recently read this one. And the whole time we were like, you know, chatting, she was bringing up this book. She's like, oh my gosh, I just don't know about this book. Like, nothing's happening and nothing's happening. And then like overnight, something must have happened, because she's like, this book was unbelievable. Like, oh my gosh, it had such a good twist at the end. So I am here for it. It's also super short. I think it's under 300 pages. Yeah, 273 to be exact. So really excited about this one. This one on the back just says, a gruesome history, a hostile neighborhood, a new owner with a shocking secret. Welcome to Blackwood House. Speaking of Gwen, I actually have a book that I got from her with her Patreon Night Owl book exchange that we did. This was, I believe, in the spring, maybe last fall. But I have Locust Lane by Stephen Amendon, I believe is how you say his name. I'm solely reading this because of the cover. Like, look at this. Now, this is not really high on my priority list, but if this one doesn't get read for October, I do plan to move it to November. But I'm really excited to read this one. I think Gwen actually DNF'd this one. That's the only thing that kind of makes me a little nervous. But I mean, this cover, stunning, stunning. For fans of Mystic River and Little Fires Everywhere, Locust Lane is a taut and utterly propulsive story about the search of justice and the fault lines of power and influence in a seemingly idyllic town. Can anyone be trusted? So might try to go into this one blind as well, but solely based on the cover. I know. Is that shallow? Probably is. The next one on my TBR is one that I'm highly anticipating. It is Rachel Harrison's Black Sheep. So I absolutely love Rachel Harrison's writing. I think it's one of those that are like kind of like a hidden gem. And I know this one's getting a lot of hype. This one also does make me a little nervous because I think it has cult vibes in it. And I'm not a big one when it comes to like cults in my fiction books. But I'm definitely wanting to read this one because it just sounds so interesting. Vesper left home at 18 and never looked back, mostly because she was told that leaving this religious community she grew up in meant she couldn't return. Then the envelope arrives on her doorstep. Inside is an invitation to the wedding of Vesper's beloved cousin Rosie. It's to be hosted at the family farm. Have they made an exception to the rule? It wouldn't be the first time Vesper's been given special treatment. Is the invite a sweet gesture, an olive branch, a trap? Doesn't matter. Something inside her insists that she goes to the wedding, even if it means returning to the toxic environment she escaped. That's just so rude. Even if it means reuniting with her mother, Constance, a former horror film star and forever Ice Queen. When Vesper's homecoming exhumes a terrifying secret, she's forced to reckon with her family's beliefs and her own crisis of faith in this deliciously sinister novel that explores way family ties can bind us as we struggle to find our peace in the world. So, really excited about this one. All right, and 2 more. These have been on my TBR for quite some time, and I've always said I was going to get to them, but I never did. So I actually have a YA. I know. Calm down. I have a reason. Calm down. So for my YA book, I actually have a Kate Alice Marshall book. It is Rules for Vanishing. Now, Liv from Liv's Library said this is one that actually might scare me. The reason why I'm really excited about this one is I actually read What Lies in the Woods by Kate Alice Marshall at the beginning of the year, and it has easily become one of my favorite thrillers of the year. So I definitely want to read more of her backlist, and I see that she's got like 2 other ones on here, and her newest one comes out at the beginning of January. So I'm very excited to read this one. I think this one has to do with like woods, and like once a year, if you go into this like special woods, people go missing. So I believe it's about a girl who's going into the woods to find her sister that went in there so long ago. And there we go. And then the last book on my TBR is the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix. I got this one free at a free little library, so definitely a score. I really enjoyed My Best Friend's Exorcism, and people say if I liked that one, then I should definitely pick up this one. Also, vampires, Halloween, duh. So I believe this one is set in the 90s, if I'm not mistaken. And it's about like these like group of women who, I think they have like a book club, and well, obviously, duh. But they also think that their next door neighbor might be a vampire. I don't know, but add a little horror to our book selection there. All right, guys, those are all the books that I plan to read for the month of October. I hope you guys are excited for the blind date with the book, the bingo board, Sleep When I'm Dead book club, all of the books I just mentioned, because I know I am. Make sure you give this video a big thumbs up, and let me know down in the comments what you plan on reading. And also, let's add an emoji, because we love a good secret emoji. Let's do, since the last book was about vampires, leave the vampire emoji down below. As always, thank you so much for watching, and subscribe, and I will see you guys all in the next video. Bye.
Hello, Ramona. I can't shake the simplest feeling beyond the